Yes, we are going to take the topic what is a flower and about floral genes and floral development. So basically, flower is a part of a plant. So it is the most attractive part of the plant. So what are the other function of the flower? We can move and look on it. So basically in this video, we are focusing on flower functions, parts and the floral genes, and in the next section, that is on the part 2, we will discussing about floral development. Okay, so basic function of the flower is sexual reproduction, therefore ensuring the survival of the species. So some flowers rely or depend upon pollinators for pollination, and pollinators such as birds, butterflies, bees, etc. are some of the pollinators. But some type of flowers, they need not want any pollinators like birds, butterflies, bees, etc. They may depend upon air or wind, water, like that. So if the flower is basically relied on pollinators, then the flowers are brightly colored. So the petals of the flowers will be brightly colored, and this coloration of the petals will attract pollinators or attract the attention of pollinators. Here in this beautiful animation, you can see that a bee, that from this flower they are collecting the pollen grains, and when they move to the next flower, these pollen grains are deposited in the female part of the flower. So from one plant, the pollen grains are transferred to the next plant. So this is termed as pollination. Here a pollinator is helping for this pollination. Okay. Next, about unisexual and bisexual flowers. Most of the students have doubt in this. What are unisexual flowers and what are bisexual flowers? Unisexual flowers means they consist of either male or female reproductive system. They do not possess both of the reproductive organs. That means if we look on a flower, that is basically a flower consists of petals, sepals. Okay, we can change color. So all the flowers consist of, suppose this is the petal, and these are the sepals, this is the stigma, and this is the gynoecium, the female part of the flower, and last part is stamens. Okay, so if all the part, that is including the stamen and the female part, that is this style and gynoecium, so carpel and stamens, if they are present in same plant, we can call it as a complete flower. Okay, we can call it as a complete flower. So I drawed here a picture with all things. That is, it consists of sepal, consists of petal, it consists of female reproductive organ, consists of male part. Okay, so this type of flower is termed as a complete flower. So bisexual flowers consist of all of this part. But in case of in case of incomplete flower, what happens? There will not be stamens or female part. So either stamen will be present or the carpel will be present. So such type of flowers are termed as unisexual. For example, you can see papaya. In papaya, this flower consists of androecium, that is stamen. That means this flower consists of only androecium. There is no pistil, carpel or gynoecium. But in the case of bisexual flowers, both stamens are there as well as gynoecium are there. As well as in this flower, this is the female flower which consists of gynoecium, not androecium. So this plant consists of gynoecium. Sorry, this flower consists of gynoecium and this flower consists of what? This flower consists of stamens. So this flower consists of stamens and this flower consists of pistil. Okay. Now moving into bisexual flowers. Bisexual flower is a complete flower. It possesses both female and male reproductive system. Okay, for example, hibiscus. Next, we are moving into other slide, that is monoecious and dioecious. Other confusing one. So, some students are always confusing about monoecious and dioecious. Okay. So, if you are thorough with unisexual and bisexual, I will compare some of these points with unisexual and bisexual. So, please pay attention. So monoecious plants have both male and female flower on the same plant, not in the same flower. Okay, not in the same flower. That means bisexual flowers consist of both male and female part on the same flower. But in the case of monoecious, it means a plant consists of both male and female flower but not in the same flower. For example, if you look on the bitter gourd, you all know that some flowers are male. It consists of male part only. And some are female flowers. It consists of gynoecium. So some flowers are male and some flowers are female, and these two flowers can seen in the same plant. So such type of plant we can call it as monoecious. This means that some of the flowers on the same plant will only have a functioning stamen. Only having a functional stamen but lack carpel. While other flowers on the same plant will have the reverse situation. That means it have a functional carp but not the stamen. Okay, that is meant by monoecious. And about dioecious, what is dioecious? Dioecious plant have male and female flowers on separate plants. Okay, so there are two separate plants. And one will possess female flower and one will possess male flower. So one plant will have all female flower. So this plant will have all female flower and this plant will have all male flowers. So they are termed as imperfect flowers. So, if the flower lacking any of its part, we call them as imperfect flowers. So, this plant will have, this is female plant. So this will consist of carpel or gynoecium or pistil. This will consist of androecium or stamen. So this is the difference between monoecious and dioecious. Okay. Next we are moving into the next slide, that is part of a flower. A flower consists of, this is basic. A flower consists of sepal, then most colorful part, that is petal, then this yellow part is the stamen. Stamen consists of anther and filament. These all are male reproductive parts. Then about carpel. Carpel consists of stigma, style, pollen tube, ovary and ovule. This portion is called the receptacle. That means where the flower organ generates, and this is the stem. Okay. About sepals. Sepal is the green color part in the plant. This is the exterior part of the flower that protect the interior flower while it emerges, while in the case of bud. Sepals are typically green and leaf-like, as they are in fact modified leaves. But it is not possible for them to be almost any color depending upon the type of plants. So it is not necessary that they are always green, because in some plants they are colored. So the sepal is the first part of the flower to grow, forming at the uppermost end of the stem. And the sepal creates a bud around the emerging flower, and its key responsibilities are to protect flower as it grows and prevent it from drying out. Not all flowers have sepals, and in some cases sepals are modified into bracts. Bracts means socket that surround the flower. They are often brightly colored, and in many cases the bract draws more attention than flower itself because they are colored. Okay. Next about the petals. Petals help to attract pollinators. It is for this reason that they are often brightly colored, showy and of interesting patterns and sizes. So the petals together form what is known as corolla of the plant. So petals are probably the part of a flower that has most variation from plant to plant. Not only do they differ in color, size and shape, but some petals form in several layers to create a very full looking flowers. So we know that some flowers has layered petals, one above the other, one above the other, one above the, for example, roses, then species of hibiscus. So while other appear to not have separate petals, but instead of one solid petal. Okay. Some will have only one solid petal. Okay. So this is all about petal. Next, moving into stamen. So stamen is the male reproductive organ of the flower. This yellow part is the stamen, and each stamen contains two main parts. Okay, they consist of two main parts. That is, one is the filament, that is the long cylindrical tendril part of the stamen, and next is the anther. It is a sac that sits at the top of the filament where the pollen grains are seen. So this is the filament. This is the filament, and here is the anther. So the function of the filament is simply to hold up the anther, extending it up to an accessible part of the flower for pollinators to reach. So what is the function of filament? So filament will hold the anther to up. That it means the pollinator have to sit on it. Only then the pollen will fall on to the next flower, so that this Filament helps in that purpose, that is for holding the anther. The anther is where the pollen is produced, and anther contain many grains of pollens that each have male reproductive cell present in them. Each flower can just a few stamens or hundreds of them. That means some flowers have only a few stamens and some have many more. And the function of the stamen is to produce pollen and make it available for the pollinators to allow reproduction. When a pollinator such as bee or a bird touches the anther, a pollen will stick to them and they get transported to other flowers. Okay. So we are moving into next slide, that is carpel. So carpel means it is the female part. It is also called as the pistil, and it is the female reproductive organ of the flower. Each carpel is usually, it's like a pin shaped. Okay, it's like a pin shaped. Bowling pin shaped means like this. And features a sac at its base. So it possesses a tube above and a sac below. So here in this picture you can see that a sac below and tube above. So this tube is said to be pollen tube. And this above portion is known as stigma. And a small thing is running through this stigma from stigma to the gynoecium. It is known as style. Okay. And this sac, the ovary that produces and contains developing seeds or ovules. So here in this sac, what it consists of developing seed, that is ovules. Moving upward, the ovary extends to the, what is this? This is the pollen tube through which pollen grains will move to the ovary, leading up to the stigma at very top. Okay. It's all about carpel. Now we are going to discuss about floral genes. So there are mainly 3 classes of floral genes that regulate floral development. And the first among them are floral organ identity genes. What are floral organ identity genes? Floral organ identity genes are directly control floral identity. They directly control floral identity. The proteins encoded by these genes are transcription factors that likely control the expression of other genes whose products are involved in the formation of functional floral organs. So this floral organ identity genes controls floral identity. Suppose this is a flower. Sorry. So this is the flower. See, there are all parts in the flower. It consists of pollen grains. Below that consists of gynoecium, then petals, sepals, etc. So the proteins encoded by these genes, that are transcription factors, they control the expression of other genes whose products are involved in the floral organs. And for example, there are certain genes which will develop into sepal. Develop into sepal. Like that, there are several other genes that develop into carpel, then petals, stamens, etc. So who control the genes? This floral identity genes control the other genes. Okay, floral organs. Next, about the cadastral genes. Cadastral genes are spatial regulators that it acts as a spatial regulators of the floral organ identity genes by setting the boundaries for their expression. So they will set the boundaries for expression. So which region should be developed into what, and this region should be developed into what, like that. All this type of regulations and setting the boundaries are done by the cadastral genes. And next is about meristem identity genes. Meristem identity genes are necessary for the initial induction of organ identity genes. So before the floral identity genes come into action, there are some other genes that have to induct the floral identity genes. They are known as meristem identity genes. They are the positive regulators of the floral organ identity. So these are all about floral genes, and in the next video we will discuss about the ABC model of floral arrangement. So please watch the part 2 video also. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you didn't like my video, please dislike it. It's no problem. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. Please subscribe and click on the bell icon too, so that you will get notification of upcoming videos. Thank you for watching my video.